So I'll start by saying, Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as represented here by the Honorable Minister of Education, the Chancellor of the University, the Vice Chancellor, the members of the Council and the Senate, distinguished professors, faculty members, staff members, students of the university, fellow honoraries, and also my fellow distinguished. He's an old Akokite. I've just become a great Akokite now by virtue of this award. But he has a distinguished career, and I'm so happy he ended his address by talking about the hope this country has, which indeed it has. Well, I'm deeply honored to speak today on behalf of all the recipients of honorary degrees at this 56th convocation. We thank the Governing Council and the Senate, our Vice Chancellor, for this profound recognition. We receive it not merely as a celebration of past achievement, but as a renewed call to service, a call that reflects the very purpose for which this great university exists. As one of Nigeria's first-generation universities established in 1962, University of Lagos occupies a unique place in our national story. It was founded when the young Nigerian state understood that political independence alone was not enough for nationhood, and this country required world-class institutions of learning. Over the decades, the University of Lagos has been guided by the succession of visionary scholars and administrators, from Professor Enyunjoku's first Vice-Chancellor, a pioneering botanist and educator, who laid the institution's academic foundations, to Professor Saburi Biobaku, a distinguished historian and nation builder, to Professor Adebisi Omotola, an eminent legal scholar, through the stewardship of the immediate past Vice-Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundikpe, and now under the inspiring leadership of our own and very first female Vice-Chancellor, Professor Folashade Jumilokwa, which is probably why that all the awards that are being won by the students are being won by females on the global scale. From Akoka have emerged men and women who've shaped Nigeria across public service, law, science, enterprise, medicine, the arts, and diplomacy. Today, UNILAG is also a hub of innovation and creativity, a growing center for STEM, digital research, entrepreneurship, and the creative economy. Across the city, co-creation hubs, innovation labs, startups. Through partnerships, industry, technology, and the private sector, UNILAG has become a launchpad for a new generation of problem solvers, young people building platforms, advancing medical research, creating green technologies, and shaping Nigeria's digital future. This evolution is not accidental. It is the outcome of a culture that insists scholarship must serve society. UNILAG has never been content to produce credentials. It has produced nation builders. It is therefore fitting that this institution once again places leadership at the center of its convocation at a time when Nigeria itself is being called to renew. That renewal is not abstract. Nigeria stands at a defining turning point. Our nation is undergoing a necessary, difficult transition. The reforms on the way seek to stabilize the economy, restore confidence, unlock productivity, broaden opportunity, improve security, improve the health and social welfare of this country. But reforms do not succeed by policy alone. They succeed when ideas shape action and knowledge guides leadership. This is where the university becomes indispensable. Citadels of learning are not spectators to national challenge. They are drivers of it. They generate the ideas, train the innovators, test the evidence, and nurture the ethical leadership that progress demands. So it's not strange that countries that do well are countries that prioritize education, invest in education, and give support to the learning, particularly at higher level, and support institutions like the great University of Lagos. So I say that when we connect the legacy of UNILAG to the needs of the nation, one truth becomes clear. Scholarship must translate into solutions. Knowledge must move from classrooms into communities, from laboratories into industries, from research into reform, and then the bridge between this campus, and the bridge, therefore, is between this campus and the country. History reminds us that the true measure of success is not how far we rise, but how much we lift others when we rise. Knowledge, like leadership, only fulfills its purpose when it is placed in the service of the common good. And I think it brings me to the point that was made by by my eminent Professor, Chief Agabi, who made the point repeatedly about the merits that the society has. And I think it's particularly important because we have consistently as a nation not allowed our nation to be determined by merit. And as we can see, what we've done here today is witness a ceremony which only has rewarded merit. Now, it is extremely important, therefore, that merit be placed at the forefront of institution building, because there's no way we will get things wrong which we do so. As a young man growing up in Lagos, I did not imagine that I would one day build the global enterprises I built or stand on a stage like this. What I did grow up was that I had a belief that one could dream beyond our circumstances, build from scarcity, and compete at the highest levels. Early in my career as a young lawyer with no office, no corporate name, and very little capital, I encountered a distressed oil tanker stranded offshore, which most people saw as a problem, I saw as a possibility. With little more than conviction and negotiation, I arranged the release of its cargo. The single opportunity became the spark that ignited a much larger vision for me. That moment taught me a lesson that has guided every step of my life. Do not wait for perfect conditions, and I speak to those who graduated today. The world is never placed where you want it. You have to move, you have to dare, you have to build as you proceed. The spirit is a common thread that connects both of us who are being honored today. Though Chief maintained the legal path with extraordinary success, while I ventured into business, our stories intersect into one common truth: that success is never handed to one, it's earned through conviction, courage, and persistence. We have faced uncertainty, we have navigated, we have endured, and we have learned not to merely survive these challenges, but to transform them into stepping stones. But I would say, in conclusion, that it is extremely important that the students understand that they will face challenges, they will face setbacks, they have to believe in themselves, they have to believe in their conviction, they have to dream, and as they say, if your dream does not feel too big, then it's not a good enough dream. You have to be committed and confident of your capacity to go out into the world. People will tell you it can never be done. Never believe them, ignore them. Build relationships, work with integrity, build teams, plan, go out there with energy, energize others, execute your plans as you need to do that. Treat them with passion. Focus on winning. Focus on winning with integrity, elevating yourselves, your companies, your teams. And most of all, be selfish. Be selfish about the fact that you are on this planet by the grace of God, and you have every right to succeed, every right to excel. Be selfish about the fact that you have every right to be happy, and the only way you're going to be happy is contributing positively to yourself, to your immediate society, to your family, and to your society. Be selfish because if you were all selfish together in the pursuit of greatness, we will create centers of excellence, of which this great institution represents. And even though the rest of society may seem to you that as you move, as you succeed in your team, your group, your element, things keep holding you back. Those circles of excellence which we all create in our different spheres will one day converge into the great nation we all hope and strive to be. I say this with all sense of responsibility, and I say this to the students. I'm a professional failure. I failed 99% of the time, but the one time I won, every time I won, it was spectacular. So I wish you a life of failure, because it's through failure that you learn success. Thank you very, very much. And also, before I go, I must say a big thank you to my parents. My mother is here present. She's 82 years old. And when it comes to education, I remember even when other children would lie that they were sick so they could escape from school, she would take us to the hospital and take us back to school on the same day. So we know, so obviously she clearly saw. She's somebody who I learned a lot from. I love her resilience, her strive. At age 60, she took up golf and plays golf 3 times a week. And at 83, she's fitter than a lot of people in the room. So thank you very much for saying. I also dedicate the award to my family, my wife, and all the support my children have given me. I spend a lot of time on the road, away from home, building a company, building great businesses, employing people, and creating value for our nation. And I've thoroughly enjoyed those years, but those years would definitely never have been successful without the support I have. Finally, I say to everybody, God bless you, God take you home safely, and thank you very, very much for this award.